J Jinx!
Truck stop!
Now, I didn't know this until not that long ago, but Amazon Basics makes a folding knife. I was immediately interested, so I picked it up. And here it is. I didn't realize at the time that this has actually been for sale for quite a while. So I thought I was getting in on something from the ground floor. I'm like, Amazon Basics now makes a tactical folding knife, which I think is what they call it in the listing. But then I saw other people reviewed this years ago, so this has apparently been around for a long time. But I got my hands on one, and I actually carried and used it for a few weeks, so I could come prepared for this video. And here is what I think. It's okay for what it is, but you can do much, much better for the money. That's pretty much my assessment. Let's do a quick walk around. It is not open assisted. It is a flipper, ambidextrous thumb studs. We got a Tanto blade with a mysterious slot. My only guess is that could be a manufacturing aid, like maybe they cut these slots to mount it or something. I don't know. And the belly of the blade is partially serrated. We've got slight jimping up there at the top, and in the liner, of course, because this knife is liner locked. We have a low-ride pocket clip, no lanyard hole, or perhaps you could use this as your lanyard hole. Let's check the particulars. Centering is not perfect, but I didn't really notice it moving from that position, so as long as it's consistent, I'm okay with that. The lockup is actually pretty good, and you can see in there it's got Teflon or nylon spacers and massive steel bolsters. This is a heavy knife just because of these bolsters, I think. And the handle is just some kind of generic brown wood. Now, I had a couple of problems with this thing out of the box. First of all, I had quite a lot of lock stick. I think this is one of those your mileage may vary kinds of things, because I didn't see very many people mentioning that in the reviews. And over time, it did get a little bit better, but it's still a little bit there. And it's an annoyance. But one of the things I do like, that they have the sprung part of the liner lock protruding a little bit through that finger choil, and that is always a plus. I would probably have hated this knife if it wasn't easy to access that. There is a little bit of a detent, but it doesn't feel that strong, and I don't know why that is. I could have gunked it up, probably. I mean, you can see on the blade it's got some epoxy resin that I dripped on it accidentally, and I just kind of left it there. The blade did keep its edge okay, but one of the things I discovered was that this part of the edge is more dull than this part of the Tanto edge. So, depending on what I was cutting, I found myself focusing the blade either here or here, and it made it a little bit awkward sometimes, cutting at that kind of an angle versus that kind of an angle. So my experience with it wasn't great. And the pocket clip had an issue as well, at least for me. Now, I know I complain a lot about how so many pocket clips out there, the little end here doesn't stand off quite enough. And then here's one where it does stand off adequately. It slips in and out of the pocket fine. But it's got this pointy edge that just happened to ride at the same height on my right leg as the sewing in one of my shirts. And maybe you can guess where that's going. It undid the sewing and the hem of my shirt. And that kind of pissed me off, so then I stopped carrying it. We have the Amazon Basics logo on the big meaty bolster. It's not, even though it's not assisted opening, you can flip it just like that. So there are things about it I liked. There were too many things I disliked to really give it much more than a couple of weeks-ish in my pocket. And I kind of wonder if Amazon Basics will expand their line of knives. I kind of wonder, why did they pick a Tanto blade? What is up with that slot? And I don't know who I should direct these questions to, so I'm just throwing it out into the ether. But I do think it's really interesting that somebody at Amazon decided that folding pocket knives are ubiquitous enough these days, I suppose, to come up with a basics version. And now it exists.